Hello there, Fabian Klaus here from the Guyana Revenue Authority. This week in Focus on GRA, I'll be showing you how to correctly download and fill out the income tax return form. What is the income tax threshold and the tax rate that would apply to income earned in 2021? And we'll have important messages from the Guyana Revenue Authority and much more. This is where Focus on GRA begins.
Employers, this is a reminder just for you. You're obligated to issue each employee with an emolument or 7B slip. Please ensure that the emolument slip is accurately completed with the necessary signature and company stamp. The issuance of the emolument or 7B slip will allow employees to fulfill their tax obligation when submitting their individual income tax return, which is due on or before April 30th, 2022.
Welcome to Focus on GRA. This is a program of information for taxpayer education. Income tax returns can be submitted online from your home or office computer using e-services. You can learn how to register by checking out GRA's YouTube video titled Signing Up for E-Services and also submitting an income tax return online. But for taxpayers who don't have an e-services account, the GRA's website has a PDF version of the individual income tax return form that you can download and fill out. Here's where we begin.
This video is a step-by-step demonstration on how to complete the new individual income tax return. But before we delve into that, there are a few points to note. Any individual who earned an income in Guyana or derived income from Guyana must report that income using this return. In the case of residents, income from outside of Guyana must also be reported. And finally, every individual whose income is in excess of the applicable yearly threshold is required to file a return, unless the income is subject to withholding tax. Now with that out of the way, let's begin. Individual income tax return for employees. At the top of the form, you must enter the year of assessment. That is the year that follows the calendar year in which the income was earned. There is also an amendment checkbox which must be ticked if you are making changes to a return that was already submitted to the GRA. We can then move on to Section A, Identification. It is mandatory to state your taxpayer identification number, but we also advise that you fill out at least one of the other fields, such as your national registration number, passport number, or NIS number. Section B requires your personal information. Last name and date of birth are mandatory fields. But like Section A, try to complete at least one other field, such as your first name. You would notice a checkbox marked Changed. This box must be ticked if the details for the specific line item has changed recently or is different from what the GRA has on file. Section C asks for your address, home and/or mailing address if different. All the fields in Section D are mandatory, which means you must fill out all your contact information. This includes your home, work, and cell phone numbers, and a complete email address. In the case where a line item is not applicable, kindly type 0 in the numeric field or none. Section E is a new and mandatory field. It's called Tax Summary. Guess what? Now you have to compute your taxes to state the tax due and tax refundable in this section. Therefore, if you need help computing your return, stay tuned, we will get to that soon. Moving along, we enter into Section F, the declaration. This is the most important part of the return because you are declaring that everything is true and correct and that you have disclosed income from all sources under the Income Tax Act. Your signature and date are really important. If you are filling out the return on someone else's behalf, you must take the capacity in which the return is made, such as whether you are an attorney, trustee, or executor, etc. Section G and F are also relatively new additions to the return. It is compulsory to state whether you were self-employed or employed during the year of income. If you were self-employed, tick the relevant boxes, state the nature of the business, and if applicable, your small business certificate number. If you are employed, you must include the employer's TIN, name, and address. The following section, titled Miscellaneous, requires information about your residency. Most of these fields are mandatory, so pay keen attention. Tick the non-resident box if you have spent less than 183 days in the year in Guyana. Also, enter your country of residence, taxpayer identification number of that country, and address in that country. Tick the ordinarily resident box if Guyana is where you spend your day-to-day life during the period of income. Tick the domiciled box if you reside in Guyana with the intention of residing permanently here. And lastly, indicate the country of which you are a national in, if you hold the nationality or citizenship of a particular state.
On the other side of the break, we'll show you how to complete the tax computation section of the individual income tax return form. We'll be right back.
The Guyana Revenue Authority is reminding taxpayers signing up for e-services to ensure that they complete their registration correctly. Please be reminded that your taxpayer identification number should be entered in the username row. Additionally, no dashes or spaces should be used when inputting the tax identification number. Remember, registering for e-services allow you to submit your return online at a time convenient to you. Don't delay. Sign up for e-services today.
Welcome back. You're watching Focus on GRA. We're now on the second part of the individual income tax return form, which deals with the tax computations. Here we will explain the various line items, who they apply to, and what figures to enter.
Tax computation. This is where things get interesting. This part of the video is specifically for employees whose only source of income is from their public or private sector job. If you are a government employee and any other employee paid from the public treasury, you must enter your income in line 26. If you are not a government employee and work within the private sector, your income must be stated in line 27. John's income is $3,574,995. Income includes commissions for private sector employees, payments for overtime, value of residence, quarters, board, and lodging, or any other allowances granted in respect of employment, whether in money or otherwise, but do not include traveling, subsistence, entertainment allowance, medical discharge benefits, severance pay, and station allowance. Total all the line items from lines 24 to 32 in which income was declared and stated in line 33. Enter the same amount in line 38. We are halfway through. Next, we move on to the deductions. Don't worry, we're almost there. In line 39, enter the respective year's threshold. For example, for the year of income 2020, the threshold is $720,000 or 1/3 of your total income. In John's case, his threshold is 1/3 of his income, which is $1,191,665. Line 40 requires you to enter the NIS value stated on your 7B form from your employer. John's value is $166,755. Line 41 is only applicable to beneficiaries of the mortgage interest relief, which asks for the gross interest paid on the mortgage during the year of income. You can get this information from the Form 4 document from your lending institution. The total deductions in line 42 is the sum of values from lines 39 to 41. If the gross interest paid on mortgage, line 41, is greater than the balance of income, line 38, less the sum of the personal allowance, line 39, and employee NIS contribution, line 40. Then insert a zero value for your chargeable income in line 43. Otherwise, minus the balance of income, line 38, from the total deductions, line 42, and enter that value in line 43. John's chargeable income is $2,216,575. In line 44, calculate the appropriate tax rate. From year of assessment 2020 to present, it is 28% on the first $1,560,000 of chargeable income and 40% on the remainder of that amount. Therefore, John's tax on chargeable income is $699,430. In line 45, enter the total value of PAYE deducted from all forms 7A or 7B received from your employer. You should notice that it is the same amount under the income tax deducted on the 7B slip. Skip to line 52 and enter the same amount from line 45. To calculate the total tax due in line 58, simply distinguish whether the line 44 is greater than line 52 and enter the difference. If line 52 is greater than line 44, enter the difference in line 54 marked Tax Refundable. John paid his right share of taxes, therefore there are no tax due nor tax refundable.
We'd now like to remind you that the tax returns that you're filing this year are for the incomes earned in 2021. My colleague Carlita Edwards is in the virtual room with a tax specialist to remind us of the income tax threshold and the tax rates that should apply to the period of income 2021. Carlita, take it away.
Welcome to your Question in Focus. With me today is tax specialist Susan Watson. Ms. Watson, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Ms. Edwards.
Today, we will be answering questions submitted by Ms. Boudou. Ms. Boudou is seeking clarification whether she is required to use the new threshold of $900,000 when submitting a return for the year of income 2021, year of assessment 2022.
The new threshold of $900,000 took effect from January 1st, 2022. Therefore, an individual submitting an income tax return for income earned in 2021 must use the threshold $780,000 or 1/3 of the total income, whichever is greater.
Ms. Boudou would also like to know how to calculate her chargeable income for the year of assessment 2022, year of income 2021.
Okay. In order to calculate your chargeable income, an employed individual must know their gross income. He or she shall be allowed 5.6% of their national insurance contribution and a deduction of $780,000 or 1/3 of their total income from all sources, whichever is greater. The tax upon the chargeable income of every person other than a company shall be at the rate of 28% of the chargeable income of every person less than $1,560,000 per annum. However, if the chargeable income of every person other than a company in excess of $1,560,000 shall be taxed at the rate of 40%. Based on the above, all the individuals will be taxed at the rate of 28% if their chargeable income is less than $1,560,000. Where the individual chargeable income exceeds this amount, the juror rate would apply, which would be 28 and 40%. Self-employed persons are allowed $780,000 or 1/3, which one is greater. However, they are not allowed the 5.6% of the NIS as a deduction.
Ms. Watson, thank you so much for being a part of our program today. Remember, you can contact our Tax Advisory Services section if you need further clarification on the numbers that are listed at the end of the program.
Thank you very much, Carolita and the tax specialist from the Tax Advisory Services section for sharing that information. And that's all in this week's Focus on GRA. For more information on tax computations, visit our website, gra.gov.gy. You can also send us your inquiries via email, grapublicrelations@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages for up-to-date tax-related information. And you can check out our YouTube channel for more videos on tax computations and other tax-related matters. Thank you for watching. I am Fabian Klaus. Stay safe, everyone.